Hello, everyone. Today we welcome Gracy Chen, the managing director from the top crypto derivatives and copy trading platform Bitget. Gracy oversees the market expansion, business strategy, and corporate development there. And under her leadership, Bitget's user base has quadrupled, propelling the exchange from the top 5 positions amongst the crypto exchanges in terms of crypto derivative trading volume. Before joining Bitget, Gracy held the executive position at the fintech unicorn company Accumulus and Foxconn-backed VR startup XR Space. Gracy was also an early investor in Bitkeep, Asia's leading decentralized wallet. In 2015, Gracy was honored as the global shaper by the World Economic Forum, and she's a graduate from the National University of Singapore and is currently pursuing an MBA at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Quite the rap sheet there. So welcome, Gracy, to the show, and thank you so much for joining us at Crypto Daily.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hi, Scott, and
Hey,
everyone.
absolutely. So we'll just dive right into to Bitget. I'll just give a brief overview, and then you can elaborate more. So Bitget was established back in 2018 by a group of early adopters who believe in a blockchain-based future. The exchange is built to help its traders and users trade smart and offer a secure one-stop investment solution. And Bitget offers its users copy, futures, and spot trading, and is the #1 crypto trading platform in the world. The exchange currently has passed over 20 million registered users worldwide and registers a daily trading volume at 10 billion USDT. Established right after the market crash, Bitget was the last 10% who remained committed to building the industry even in the face of adversity. And at its core, the exchange is focused on doing the right thing. They hold themselves to the highest ethical and legal standards because reputation is one of the most valuable assets. And while embracing honesty and earning trust, Bitget shares this information that our customers want to know: the good, the bad, and even what is not required, because trust is key. Many of us have heard about King's Cup Global Invitational, or KCGI, crypto trading competitions, and we're curious to find out more about that. So let's start with some questions about Bitget, and we'll go from there. So can you tell us a little bit more about Bitget and how it became one of the largest exchanges out there?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the very nice introduction, Scott. You mentioned quite a bit about our introduction or our starting story already. Obviously, we started in 2018. That was the last crypto winter. Right now, it's very cold, and at that time, it's also very cold.
Yeah.
Just let me share a quick story of how we started and what happened in the early very cold days. So when we launched our product or the platform in 2018 and 19, there wasn't really a lot of volume or user because it was really like a very cold winter. And our our founding team tried projects after projects, market after market, and nothing took off. Money was tight, and they even started to consider, should we give up? Until one day in the summer of 2019, when they checked the result, one of the derivative product was thriving. So very quickly, our daily trading volume grew from a few hundred USD to 100 million USD at that time in 2019. So here's the important part. Instead of hoarding all the wealth at the top, our founders made sure that every person who had contributed to the result shared in the profit. Because one part of our strong philosophies is that we are not chasing glory, we're chasing results. And we understand that for us to grow as a company, everyone needs to be recognized and empowered. And also why so many companies across the world, like right now, when they are letting go of their staff, we're still hiring more and more. In the last 2 years alone, we've actually grown from a staff of 150 to over 1,500 people right now working at Bitget, and we're still growing. So I hope that answered a bit about our starting story, as well as our philosophy and why we're growing so tremendously. I think that's just one of the reasons that we contribute a lot. Also, we attribute a lot to results and to the results being recognized by having everyone sharing the profit, and of course that different reasons, like the techniques, like for example, listing team, we have a big ecosystem. We can dive into those things a bit more later.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's very impressive that amongst all of the bankruptcies and all the craziness, a lot of companies are letting go, but you guys are actually growing and thriving. So that's really amazing to see. So can you tell us a little bit more about the KCGI?
Okay, so KCGI is one of our biggest events around the year. We actually do this big trading tournament twice a year. And the last time we did it, we had 32,000 participants who formed more than 200 teams, many of which are led by influencers, crypto traders like yourself, and we gave out $500,000 in prizes. That's last year. And this year, as well as having a grand prize pool of 2.6 million, we also have some fun prizes, such as the new iPhone Pro Max. We also have a Tesla Cyberquad bike. And we also decided that might not be enough. And we are giving out an Airbus helicopter this year with the
Oh my
Bitget.
gosh.
So that's
Wow.
pretty fun. But basically, KCGI is our big trading tournament that we do twice a year.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so for people listening, definitely go and check that out. So let's move a little bit into the regulatory landscape.
Sure.
In 2022, we've seen, a lot of things happen in the industry, and that prove that we can't continue operating in such a volatile way without having a clear and comprehensive regulation to move forward. So while the events that took place were shocking, and most of us did not anticipate the magnitude of what would unfold with all of the craziness that happened in 2022, since then, lawmakers around the world have scrambled to try to introduce more regulatory frameworks to prevent these types of things from happening again.
Yeah.
So some countries and regions have set out clear rules. Some have set out more clear rules than others, while others have been falling behind, such as the EU has been working on the MICA bill, which is very close to seeing its efforts come to fruition. The UK has taken cognizance of the dire need for regulation, and they've worked towards these efforts to introduce several measures to guide the industry forward. And while the US is still trying to figure out this regulatory structure, reading through Bitget's AML and KYC policies, it's very clear that you've taken a very comprehensive approach to trying to protect users and remain compliant with all the standards. So that's very good to see. So my question is, with the ever-changing regulatory landscape, how does the Bitget team stay on top of all of these developments? And what is your general approach to the regulatory landscape?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very important topic, and it's become increasingly important, not just since FTX collapse, but also
Yeah.
I personally think it will be at a core of discussion for at least upcoming 5 to 10 years. So at Bitget, we understand that it's important to remain compliance, and also we had a significant increase of our team members over the past 12 months. Right now, I have more than a dozens, actually two, 3 dozens of team members only in the compliance team. They are based around the world. We've been in very some friendly or some deeper conversations with industry regulators around the world. I myself are involved in some of them, and obviously my compliance and legal team are more involved. So we do have a few licenses as well, especially in Europe. And also in terms of KYC, which, as you know, KYC is mainly for anti-money laundering. We actually hold a very high standard right now. We had this all everyone KYC kind of policy since September 1st this year. And so far, I think a few days ago, we just checked on the number. We had like 75% of our users being finished the KYC already, and we are chasing after all the others for them to go through the full KYC. So that's very important. We have a high standard in KYC, compliance and regulation wise. it's as you mentioned, different jurisdictions take it very differently. So for some regions, such as the United States, we don't serve customers here. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's just very complicated to navigate the regulatory framework for the moment. And I believe there are stronger players in this market, such as Coinbase, who is, they also thinking about how to approach this. But anyway, they have a stronger brand. It's very hard for us to compete with Coinbase or or with some other competitors in this space. So we kind of strategically gave up this market. And for some other regions such as Asia, especially like Hong Kong, Singapore, like we are in lots of conversation with the Hong Kong government of applying for a license over there. Um, and yeah, different region we have different approaches, and this is also ongoing process. And by the way, we're also talking to some regional exchanges who has license. We might purchase some of them for the license and users and their local know-hows. And for some other region like Hong Kong, we are applying for our own or preparing to apply for a new one. And then for some other regions such as the United States, we just don't serve the market. So there are different approaches in different jurisdictions, but generally, if we do business in a country, we want to make sure that everything is, at least on our end, we did our best to comply and to talk to the governments and to make sure the users have a great user experience.
So at Bitget, you guys understand that the importance of maintaining compliance in this dynamic industry. To this end, you have significant steps to bolster your compliance team. I've understood that over 50% over the last 12 months, as you've mentioned, with the massive growth in your team, and that you've always been welcoming to industry regulations and guidelines for different country. And as you said, it's been very, very important. So can you tell us a little bit more about the measures you're taking to ensure transparency and how you keep that trust with your customers, specifically for Bitget?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So safety, transparency, and trust. These are some of the words that become very popular, especially recently. And we take a very high standard in those things as well. So for example, for safety, we have a strong security and technology team to make sure that we refrain from hacks or unstable system, and we utilize many measures, like very high top-notch measures in the space. And for some other things that is more relevant to all the user, or I should use relevant, it's probably more checkable. And we want to be very transparent for our users in order for them to check, because my backend technology system is basically uncheckable. That's my point. So we want to make sure, for example, things like our protection fund, our proof reserve, these are things there that users can check. Just let me elaborate a bit more on this. So for protection fund, Bitget actually has a very large, one of the largest protection fund, valued at right now USD 350 million, denominated only in BTC, USDT, and USDC. Not even Ethereum, of course, not BGB, which is our platform token. So this is a protection fund, and we have them stored in 7 open wallets. And users can check on our website and go to those wallets to do the checking. So let me just quickly pull that out. I think the website is something like, it's basically bitget.com/protection/fund. Sorry. Yeah, I'll just type that website link here so that, even for your user, and if they are interested, they can go ahead and take a look. And we that's what we mean by being transparent. We actually do want our users to, take a look and you can verify it for yourself. So this fund right now, we have 6,500 BTC, 120 USDT, and 120 million USDT and 40 million USDC. So with Bitcoin price fluctuates, of course the fund value fluctuates as well, but we promise that we will keep this fund at least more than 300 million for the upcoming 3 years. This protection fund is here for our users to claim if there are compromised accounts or assets stolen or lost due to events not attributed to their own action or trading behavior. So that basically to protect our users against some potential harm that they had, but that's not their fault. This is protection fund, and also proof reserve. Proof reserve, we started to issue that right after FTX collapse. I think all the major centralized exchanges are doing that as well. And by the way, if any user who are using a centralized exchange and your platform, that platform doesn't have proof reserve, doesn't have protection fund, this kind of protective scheme, they should be careful. Think about what are potential risks and whether you want to change to a larger and more well-protected platform. That's my very good suggestion to our users. So proof reserve, this has been a norm, at least among the larger centralized exchanges. We publish our proof reserve on a monthly basis, and we provide a tool we call it Merkle Trade validator, so that users can validate on their funds as well. And by the way, we also implemented a high level of custodial service together with Kobo, Cooper, some of the industrial's top-notch custodial service provider for our users. Some of our users, like, they have to be qualified users as well as institutional users.
Yeah, that's amazing. It sounds like you guys have been extremely proactive with everything that's happened in the past few years in making sure that you're prepared for anything, as well as just keeping and building that trust with your users, that they know that their funds are there, they can validate, there's proof of reserves, there's a protection fund in case anything happens. So that's very, very great to see. So along that note, moving on to user safety, transparency, and trust, a little bit which we've already discussed. Can you tell us a little bit more about the transparency reports that you put out and what they entail, as well as what inspired you to go down that endeavor? Obviously, some inspiration from FTX and all the scandals and things that happened, but if you could elaborate, what started that path, as well as do you think more exchanges and companies should be doing something similar and potentially following your leadership?
We certainly think just like proof reserve, transparency report should or could potentially be an industrial standard. We published this since I think first half of this year, and we do this on a quarterly basis so that our users, and not just users, but also partners, employees, suppliers, etc. Basically, any Bitget stakeholders or even investors, they have because we believe that all the stakeholders should have the right to access this essential information about our operation, and they can check on information such as our trading volume, traffic, copy trading profits, our BGB token, and we also do some industry recap in those transparency report in order for, again, all the stakeholders to be on the same page, and they know what's happening in Bitget and in the centralized exchanges.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very good to see that you have a transparency report and that you're really reaffirming that commitment to transparency. To earn the trust from the community, it's very key that companies are disclosing that information. So it's great to see that you're doing that on a quarterly basis and providing people with all that information. So what is Bitget's end goal? Like, how does the exchange plan to grow further and cement itself in the global markets as well as various regions? And what do you feel sets it apart from its competitors, aside from the many great things that you've already discussed?
Okay. Our end goal, it's a good question. We probably don't have an end goal because we don't know how the industry will evolve. Of course, we do think the blockchain and crypto industry has lots of potential, and it's in the long run going to be very influential in the world. But we will navigate around the space, see how it goes. But we do have a 3 to 5 year goal as a centralized exchange. We want to be. I think there are two ways of looking at it. A very specific or explicit way of talking about our goal is that we do want to grow big, and we want to be a top three among all centralized exchanges, hopefully in 3 to 5 years. But we on the implicit or a more ideology part of it is we also want to support the whole ecosystem. Yeah, but we don't have an exact number or exact goal in that space. And also we realize that ecosystem growth is so important in this 2020 or sorry 2023 year kind of landscape, because it's only when the whole industry grows that we can grow. Yeah, so other than cutting the pie right now, what we want to do is to grow the pie together. And we are in conversation with some other exchanges about potential collaboration. As for competitor landscape, what you asked about how what do we see, what do I see, and that what set Bitget apart from our competitors. I guess we do have a very high top-notch transparency and protection scheme. We also have a strong team who is very much emphasized on results. If you know some other exchanges, there were this is probably a bit unfair because I've never worked in those exchanges, but I did hear from some of my colleagues or friends that because of the fact that centralized exchange has it's like a cash cow business, and there are so much profit and benefit and stake on the table, many times there are lots of office politics or different kind of little mafia fighting each other. For us, it's not our company culture. We very focus on results. And we want to make sure whoever, again, just like our beginning story, whoever brings results to the table, they are awarded and they share the gain of that company. So I guess that's another thing culturally might set us apart from our competitors. Again, no judge on others, but this is just something I heard from my friends. Maybe another thing I would say, of course, copy trading, that's our flagship product. We have the world's largest copy trading platform in crypto. And we started off that very early, many years ago. And we offered copy trading in not just derivative, but also spot market, in order to cover all different users' needs. Yeah, I guess these are some of the things that come to top of my mind.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, Bitget's clearly setting themselves apart from the competition and definitely trying to, set a good example for other exchanges to follow. So that's very, very good to see.
Yes.
Yeah, before we end off, if you'd like to share a little bit of your thoughts on like the latest trends that you're seeing in the crypto market and how Bitget is sort of working with those trends and adapting, that would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Some trends. So I guess as a industry, or as an industry leader, Bitget or I myself do look for some trends that may happen later this year or more likely next year around the market hype in general. So number one, there are two big events that I'm observing or waiting to see a result that I think will be very influential in our space. So number one is Bitget Spot ETF's approval. I'm a strong believer that this will be approved. It's not a matter of yes or no. It's just a matter of time, like when. Likely later next year, like maybe March, April next year. And if that's approved, there will be much more influx of fund coming to our space. Maybe I'm looking at 100 billion USD into BTC itself. Yeah, so this will definitely be an important market event. And then for the US market, the Fed's interest rate has been and a very high, at least the highest in 22 years right now, ranging from 5.25 to 5.5% range, which is just unsustainable. There might be another increase later this year, maybe end of this year, due to the high inflation that the US is still observing and experiencing. But this is again just unsustainable, and I personally think it will decrease next year. So that's another influential event to crypto, because when the interest rate goes down, the desire for holding a bond will go down, and the desire or the so-called the money flowing into equity market or crypto space will be higher. Yeah, so that's a global financial industry perspective. Then from our own space, like from the crypto or blockchain space, a few events such as Ethereum upgrade, and also layer 2 mainnets launch, LSD-Fi, Telegram bots. These are some other sectors that I think are quite interesting and worth taking a look. And for industry, I think, of course, more and more regulations and compliance. And another thing that I was chatting with my friends, which might not be totally correct, but what they say is east rise, west kind of tumble a little bit, because right now we see lots more friendly framework, regulatory frameworks from the Asia or so-called the East, such as Dubai, Hong Kong. Some of these places have been opening up a lot for crypto and blockchain. Yeah, so these are different topics. I've thrown, more than nearly 10 topics, but I guess they have different importance level. But I'm happy to chat with you more if there's something interesting.
I'm curious, what led Bitget to working towards a Bitcoin spot ETF, and what has that process been like?
Okay, so spot ETF is not something that Bitget is working tremendous on. We're still a centralized exchange, and as you might know, centralized exchange have its main role, I would say, are threefold. Number one, trading platform. Number two, financing platform. By financing platform, I mean we support the smaller Web3 projects through Launchpad, Launchpool, IEO, etc., to finance those projects. And then the third role of a centralized exchange might be a asset management platform. So for example, we have Earn, we have staking. Some of these functions are on our exchange, but we don't really issue spot ETF on ourselves. I'm looking at that because it's important, and those companies who are issuing and getting approval from SEC include very big names like BlackRock, Fidelity, Wisdom Tree, etc. There are 7 companies mainly in the US applying for BTC spot ETF. Yeah, we don't do that. We don't issue spot ETF ourselves. We will likely partner with some of the earning, staking, or even ETF projects. But we will see how it's approved and see how different regulatory frame jurisdictions are working towards that. And once U.S. market SEC approved that, I personally expect there will be other governmental organizations around the world following the steps to approve that. So we will see which company to work exactly with later, maybe next year.
Awesome, fantastic. Yeah, it's great to see exchanges and companies doing new things in the space and trying to, you know, offer new products and new opportunities to their users and their traders. So that's very, very great to see. So
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much everything on my end today. Thank you so much, Gracie, for taking the time to speak with us, and thank you for Bitget for allowing us to pick your brains and learn a little bit more about what it is you do and the industry and the regulatory approach that you have. So again, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well.